Let's go back to the mid 2000s, a magical time when your computer's interface tried really, really hard to look like a sci fi movie prop. On one side, Microsoft launched Windows Vista's Aero design, so shiny and translucent, it looked like your PC was trying to be a window, literally. On the other side, you had Apple's liquid glass, aesthetic, smooth, polished, and elegant, like your MacBook just got back from a day at the spa. Today, we're diving into the flashy, the glassy, and the sometimes slow as molasses world of liquid glass and Windows Aero. Let's get to it. Believe it or not, Apple's liquid glass look started showing up in macOS during the tiger and leopard days. And no, we're not talking about jungle animals. We're talking about software that looked like it was designed by a team of industrial engineers and interior decorators. The dock had a shiny 3D glass shelf look, the windows had subtle gradients, and the overall vibe was I wear a black turtleneck and drink lattes at 3 p.m. The name back then was Aqua. Apple went for realism and a term they called skeuomorphism, which is basically a fancy word for your screen looks like something from real life. Buttons look like buttons. Scroll bars look like a tiny metallic rail. You could almost feel the cold metal of your Mac's interface. It was classy, it was calm, and your CPU didn't have to burst a blood vessel just to open Finder. Meanwhile, over at Microsoft, somewhere clearly walked into a meeting and said, "What if we made everything see through?" Thus, Aero was born. Short for authentic, energetic, reflective, and open, and I swear I didn't make that up. Vista's Aero was all about flair. Windows borders were glassy and blurred, menus glowed like they were running on plutonium, and task switching looked like a 3D flipbook your graphics card begged you not to run. It was visually stunning, sure, but also stunningly resource heavy. On older machines, Aero was like a luxury sports car with no gas. Pretty to look at, but not going anywhere fast. At its core, Apple's liquid glass was about balance. Translucency was used just enough to give the illusion of depth, but not so much that you felt like your desktop was melting into itself. It was like an elegant dinner party, smooth jazz, dim lighting, and nothing catching fire. Microsoft, however, threw a rave. Aero came packed with animations, transparency, flips, fades, you name it. It was exciting, it was futuristic, and it made sure you knew your PC was running a modern OS. But let's be real. Sometimes it felt like Vista cared more about looking cool than actually being usable. Like that one friend who shows up in leather pants to a picnic. Apple eventually ditched the hyper realistic textures for something even cleaner. But liquid glass laid the foundation for today's macOS design. Think soft blurs, subtle shadows, and minimalism, with a hint of boogie. Microsoft learned a few hard lessons from Aero. Mainly, don't make your entire interface an art project unless your users own high-end gaming PCs. But hey, in Windows 11, they brought back the blur and transparency, this time with actual performance optimizations. So now you can have the style and speed. Imagine that. So, who did it better? Apple's liquid glass whispers, "I'm refined and expensive." Aero yelled, "Look at me sparkle while I crash your graphics card." Both have their moments in the sun, both influence modern UI design, and both taught us that just because it looks like glass doesn't mean it won't shatter your CPU. In my personal opinion, I had a great experience with Windows Vista. I installed it. I know I had what was back then, quote unquote, a gaming PC, which was the XPS series of laptops from Dell. Uh, at that time, it was a good computer for what it was, and it ran Windows Vista smoothly. Everything ran awesome. I didn't have any complaints regarding it, although I know people that since they didn't have a computer like I did with the specs that I did experience a lot of problems with Windows Vista. And no, I'm not saying this because Windows Vista, the nostalgia that it was my first operating system, it was not my first operating system. Nope, not you either. Nope, you gotta go back. Nope, gotta go back. Just a little more. Aha, there it is. There it is. That one. That was my first operating system. I know I'm probably telling my age by showing this operating system, but hey, uh, that's it was my first operating system. It's what made me fall in love with computers, even though it was lacking a lot compared to operating systems now. This is what got the Windows 3.11 or Windows 3.1 is what got me into computers. Anyways, if you enjoyed this throwback tech breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more nostalgic, nerdy, and let me know in the comments. Are you Team Liquid or Team Arrow? And most importantly, do you still hear the Windows Vista startup sound in your nightmares? As always, we're available on Facebook, Instagram, X, and obviously YouTube at JR Abrams Tech for the latest news and rumors about tech. Thank you for watching us, and we'll see you in the next video.